Hello, everyone. Scott Dunbar, owner of Nwaj Tech, client-focused, security-minded, proactive IT. And this is a quick tip based on an interaction I had with a client. The hard drive of their MacBook was full. They couldn't do anything, kept getting spinning wheel. And, you know, that's going to happen if you have a 500 gig hard drive and it's using 500 gigs. And the reason it was using 500 gigs, the client was unaware that their Dropbox account was filling up the hard drive space. So they have Dropbox on a Windows machine and on a Mac computer. And the Windows machine has plenty of hard drive space because it has the operating system drive that boots, which is an SSD, and then they have a hard drive also on the laptop that's used exclusively for storage, and that's a 1 terabyte drive. So they weren't aware that the MacBook was filling up because the MacBook was only a 500 gig drive and the Dropbox was filling it up. So I'm going to show you how to eliminate that problem with Dropbox and OneDrive. Those seem to be the two most popular cloud storage tools. And they do more than that, but for this purpose, we'll just call them cloud storage for now. And I do happen to use both, so that'll work out well. So here we go. So we'll start with OneDrive. And you can see my mouse is now hovering over OneDrive, and I have two OneDrives, and I have a Dropbox running. And the OneDrive accounts, all three of those accounts would give me a total of, I believe, 4 terabytes of storage. And my hard drive on my computer does not have 4 terabytes of storage, none of my computers. So how am I doing this? Well, if you right-click on OneDrive and then go to Settings, which opened up automatically, and you look here, I'm using 221 gigs of storage, but I'm not using it locally. If I go to Settings, use files on demand, save space, and download files as you use them. So that setting tells OneDrive, leave them in the cloud until he needs them. And then when he needs them, you click on it. And as long as you have a high-speed connection, so you don't even notice the difference. So it'll download the file, open it, and use it as necessary. So I could open a PowerPoint now that I need for tomorrow, and it will open instantly, even though it's not stored locally on my computer. It's stored in the cloud. Now, the only time that becomes a problem, of course, is if you don't have an internet connection. But that's the one drawback, and it's very rare that something like that happens. The last time I didn't have internet, there was an outage. It was few hours during the day, one day, a few months ago. But I also have a hotspot, so I use my cell phone carrier's hotspot. So that's an option. Now, Dropbox, pretty similar. You right-click on it in the system tray, you click on your name, you go to Preferences, and under Sync, you turn on Save Hard Drive Space, and it'll do online only. And you can see it freed up 8 gigs. I recently moved a lot of stuff out of my Dropbox and into OneDrive, so I don't use as much OneDrive space anymore, Dropbox space anymore. It's used primarily for the purposes of one client. But again, this frees up space locally on your computer. And then if you didn't know, you can also change the location of both OneDrive and Dropbox. So on my computer, I changed the location to my D drive, which is a data drive. The drawback for Dropbox is you can't use it for backup if you do that. You can use Dropbox as a backup if you have the paid services. You can't do this with the free account. But you can back up your computers, multiple computers if you choose, to Dropbox as well. Just setting up backups on the settings in the preferences will allow you to do that. I don't do that. I use a different service for backup. So that should do it. That should help you save some space on your local computers. And especially if you have, a lot of the laptops today are being sold with SSDs. That's great. You should have an SSD at this point. That's a solid state drive. The problem is they usually come with like a 240 gig SSD, which doesn't have a lot of storage space. So you'll want ways to maximize your storage space. My laptop has I think both my laptops have a 240 gig SSD, and I just turn on cloud only storage so that those services are not using any space on my laptops. So that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay secure.